Don't try and tell me you don't experience uncertainty and chaos. If they don't cause you fear, you are very unusual. If you have very few raw materials like a steel mill or a foundry, if you saw logs into boards or refined oil, this presentation won't help you. But if you buy thousands of parts and make them into more sophisticated products, please continue. If you are in any of these or similar industries, you have a great opportunity. Before I get to the win for you, let's talk about your challenges. Friends, I find manufacturers stuck in what I call an infinity loop. You just loop around it forever with no way out. So a logical place to start is to buy and hold just enough frequently used raw materials to cover the forecasted demand. But immediately things start to go wrong. The forecast for certain finished goods turns out to be inaccurate. So there are surpluses and worse, shortages of raw materials, which goes even worse when lack of raw materials blocks production of certain finished goods according to the production plan. And finally, some orders must be lost when products are ready too late to meet the customer's needs. So because of sales being lost, we go to a different place. We purchase common and especially inexpensive raw materials earlier and buy in larger quantities. But it starts to go wrong when much more cash is tied up in raw materials inventory. And yet even one raw material shortage out of 1,000 still blocks production. So we haven't gotten over the sales being lost and production being interrupted. And yet things get worse again because to avoid wasting the plant capacity, we're producing finished goods that are not yet needed instead of making those products that the customers need now. And that leads to raw materials and finished goods inventories that are very high, and there's some significant obsolescence. By this I mean the raw materials are high because we've made the decision down below to better protect sales, and finished goods are high as a consequence of the plant being slower. And here's the infinity loop. It goes right back to buy and hold just enough raw materials to cover the forecasted demand. Now let's go into this a little bit more. When you aggregate raw materials or purchase components, there is a problem and you know it well. If you're missing just one part out of 1,000, you can't make your product. Now look at the middle of the raw materials dots. There's the one product that went away, and boom, we can't make the finished goods. And when the one that's missing arrives, who knows if a few more haven't gotten used up in the meantime? Ha! Here's the sorry math. Assuming you have a 99.9% chance of having each raw material in stock, and there are 1,000 raw material components, then you have less than a 37% chance of being able to run the production work order. That's why it's so hard. I know this is why you stock more raw materials, as well as components, and many of you feel compelled to stock finished goods instead of just making to order. When you can't run the work, the production schedule must be replanned. Otherwise, you don't run the plant and costs skyrocket. How often does this happen in your plant? This is depressing for the production planner, but there's a worse problem than that. The reason the now delayed work order was next in the production plan is because it had the highest priority. That means there's a risk that the customer might miss their window of opportunity and no longer need the goods. They might buy them elsewhere in a competitive market. Then they could decide they like your competitor better than you. You know this means lost orders. What neither you nor I know is, how bad is it? The only way to measure the damage would be to avoid the delays. I know this is why you stock more raw materials. The highest raw material levels in terms of days of stock are in the least expensive parts because you can't afford unlimited purchasing staff. They run out of time and ordering 6 months of cotter pins gives them more time to invest in the expensive stuff. It's a good strategy. Another is to build and stock intermediate components, and many of you feel compelled to hold finished goods instead of just making to order. Even if you do make the stock, life is still not perfect because these delays from the plant mean you're forced to carry more inventory or suffer the damage of running out. With so much money tied up in raw material, work in process, and finished goods, it's harder to make other investments that could help the flow through the plant. Despite your high inventories, you continue to experience shortages and production delays. Even though you incur the expense of expedited shipping, some lost orders are inevitable. Delays keep the sales force apologizing instead of selling, meaning even more lost business. And when purchasing is begging suppliers to help you out by shipping early, they're not negotiating for lower costs. All these contribute to lost profits. Put these two together, and it means impaired return on investment. No way around it. You know, the one thing that would make it easier to compete would be to make the plant super responsive to customer demand. But how? If the problems were only economic, that would be one thing. But the staff are at each other's throats. Sales blames production. Production blames planning. Planning blames purchasing. The CFO demands lower inventory and feels like nobody listens. The material controller blames purchasing for obsolescence write-offs. Meanwhile, the plant manager complains that the warehouse is spilling out into the space needed for production. Accounting is bitching at transportation for being over budget. The board blames the CEO. The CEO tries to hold people accountable, which increases stress. The company either becomes a powder keg or else everybody has given up. I apologize for torturing you. I'm Henry Camp, the owner of Shipper Solutions. I know all these things are true because my various companies have been working for or supplying manufacturers for almost 70 years. Let's take a breath here and agree together what a good solution would look like. First, let's get everybody on the same team, happily working together and trusting each other. Add to that, more cash available for improvements. Less tail chasing would give the work more of a sense of purpose. And last but not least, the goal of every business is to make money. What do you think? Is it possible to meet these criteria? I bet you have solutions in mind. But do they meet all these criteria? If you did have a good solution that met all 4 of these criteria, wouldn't it already be implemented? Let's see if we can help you. That's a summary of the problems we see specifically for aggregating manufacturers, aggregating all those raw materials into finished goods. And it's how we suggest deciding if any proposed solution is any good at all. Fortunately, all these problems are interconnected. If we eliminate the core problem, the symptoms simply go away, all of them. If you're interested, email us at supply stream@ssco.pro. We'll get right back to you. Thanks for listening.